Hello everyone and welcome to Dumb Shit Talks and welcome to another episode of Rupit Mumbles About, or RMA for short. And that being said, it is I, your host, Rupit Bhandari, with his inexplicably annoying fake accent. Okay. Jokes aside though, I would like to start this video off with expressing my gratitude to all of you. We've crossed 100 subscribers and overall the feedback is very positive, which is also why I'd like to apologise for what is coming next. You see, when I teased the next video in my last RMA, I actually was going to talk about EDF, or Defense Force 4.1, a game that was really a great example of Japanese jank games. You know, I started working on the script and everything, and the problem was immediately clear. My PC is a stupid potato machine. So this was where my thoughts kind of spiraled out of control. Huh? What? Wait. Just give me a second. I'm gonna have to answer this. Just give me a second.
Few moments later.
Whew. So, would you look at that? So I got this gift package. I don't know what this is, but, this was left on my doorstep, and, yeah, I guess I got a gift, even though we did not advertise our home addresses to anyone. And I'm not sure anyone would give us, that we know would give us a gift, and well, who knows, you know what, let's just open it, get this thing over with. Hey, so this is the package, and as you can see, the writing is weird, to say the least. So here goes to Rupit Bhandari, that's me, aka the manager. Dumb shit stops, and with nice little brackets there with Alan and Arian. Here's the funny thing. The return address is #null. Wait, what? Whatever, let's just check it out. So here it goes. Here it goes, right? Drum roll, please. Drum roll. Alright. Let's go. Come on! Come on. For Christ's sakes. Alright. Okay. Done. Okay, this is a joke. A banana. Guys, okay. This is definitely Alan and Arian making a joke or something. It's probably a reference to Aho Girl or God of High School, I guess. But I don't know, I'm not sure. And more importantly, this is a stupid joke. Here I was thinking, such a nice package, feels a bit heavy, but light, but who knows, so much confetti, but nope, there is nothing here. Just a stupid banana. Hello? Alan? Arian? Please pick up so that I can kick your faces in, please. What am I doing? That was a stupid idea. What? Did this banana just speak? Okay. Okay, I need to get my job. I need to get to a doctor first. Okay, listen. Mario, listen. First off, you're a talking banana, okay? There's no way Nintendo would let you, use their IP for your name. Second, how can you be Mario? I mean, if you call yourself Luigi, I mean, it would make sense. I mean, you're an unripe banana and all, but come on, dude, don't be such an idiot. Okay, so now I'm gonna be taking video ideas from a sentient banana. Oh well, let's hear it. Well, that does fix an issue I had. You see, I really didn't know what I'd make this video about, so, So, what's the game? But didn't you say that he was your cousin? Okay. So that's what we're rolling with, guys, I guess. At the sincere behest of a sentient banana, we're gonna be talking blood, bullets, and bananas. My Friend Pedro started life as a clunky yet interesting flash game making the rounds at Newgrounds. I know, alliteration. Developer Victor Agren, also known as Dead Toast Entertainment, would create some more pretty good flash games before moving on to a professional job at working on games such as Little Big Planet and so on and so forth. In 2016, after an on and off comments about whether he'd remake his bullet ballet simulator, Dead Toast finally unveiled the remake/definitive edition of My Friend Pedro, and that is the version that we will be playing today. And right off the bat, the game has a stark contrast to its source material. The dark, edgy atmosphere is replaced with an art style that is a lot more colorful, yet equally gritty enough to keep its tone balanced, and it works pretty well. Gone is the main character's long trench coat and weird Max Payne-esque smirk, and replaced with this cute little banana jacket. Shut up. This helps the game set itself as a unique property, as something that stands out in its own right. The environments themselves are a bit varied, especially in terms of gameplay and level design. The UI has been cleaned a lot up, and quite a few features have been added, which we will go into in depth in a few minutes. But underneath all that cleanup, UI, and overhauling stands the same game with the same core concept as envisioned previously. The ability to move your character in real time and flipping through the air, guns akimbo, a bullet ballet of sorts, and it is more satisfying here than ever. 3D action games have shifted towards more animation-heavy movement combat systems, where they trade cinematic flair and realism for control, the player freedom to express and move as he wants. It is kind of annoying to just hit one button and watch an animation while you twiddle your thumbs, and it kind of is counterintuitive to how movement should work in video games. But My Friend Pedro's main hook goes directly in the opposite direction of what these new games do. Focus mode not only serves as this game's version of bullet time, but it allows your character to freely spin and flip through the air for some dramatic kills. And this new version also expands upon this contrast by adding the dodge option, a rotisserie spin or something that basically allows you to dodge incoming fire. It's not a mashable option, however, because when you're spinning, your guns will not fire in the direction you want them to. Also, you can't do anything else, such as hit melee kills and so on and so forth. Also, yes, there's a melee option, allowing you to kick enemies, objects into enemies, objects away from enemies, cans to let enemies explode, so on and so forth. It's very satisfying, and it also allows for a lot more open approach to combat itself. The game also has smoothened out its animations to allow seamless flows from a kick to a slide to a jump to a wall jump to another kill to split aim shoots, and yeah, there's also split aim firing in this game. If you have dual wielding weapons equipped, you can lock onto one enemy and use the mouse to fire at another enemy, and both simultaneously, which basically adds a little bit more depth to the combat and is a lot more fun. Like, seriously, this is crazy stuff we're dealing with here. All this with the presence of physics objects such as skateboards, carts, explosive canisters, barrels that you can roll people over, and even stuff like pans that can deflect bullets straight into other enemies. It allows for a gameplay loop that is so addictive, you'd be hard pressed to stop playing. It just takes the game to dizzying heights, and it feels great. Not only is the mobility and combat options feel liberating to experience, the game bolsters this with some good sound design and excellent particle effects. And the guns you rain down hell with are kinda standard, but they are designed in such a way to the point that no one weapon is rendered useless. And the music, by god, the music. All in all, the game's combat loop has a pretty high skill ceiling. At the same time, it's accessible enough for beginners to ease into the game's mechanics. And just getting high scores on level is just pretty satisfying. One problem though, it's kind of hollow. White Light, a YouTuber whose videos I kinda like, has consistently talked about internal motivation and external motivation. Internal motivation comes from the player's own need to play skillfully, either for having the game look good, or for bragging rights, or more satisfying experience. External motivation is the game's requirement for you to play skillfully. It can do so by having a high challenge gap or high difficulty curve that you need to overcome through skillful play, or by making skillful play a requirement for higher rewards. Now, there are many games that try to make internal motivation the sole focus of their gameplay loop, but I believe personally that there should be a balance, and unfortunately My Friend Pedro tips way too hard towards internal motivations. And I'm not saying that the gameplay loop I'm not saying that the game should turn into an RPG with a leveling system or something like that. I'm just saying that a few bonus costumes or bonus levels and stuff like that would help the game feel a lot better to play, and at least make a bit more replayable, is what I'm trying to say. There are modifiers that allow you to, that act as basically cheats for you to, play in big head mode, have a cinematic focus camera and stuff like that. But they're collectibles that you can find once you complete the game, and again, they're just cheats, so there isn't much to talk about here. Now, one thing I would like to mention that I kind of forgot was that while the gameplay is highly focused around the combat, the game surprisingly leans a lot towards the platforming sections as well. At first glance, they are kinda simple, where you have to just go from A to B, and you have to, use wall running and ledges and ropes and stuff. But then the game introduces more hazards and more options, and the game generally becomes a lot more challenging in terms of
platforming as well, and it just keeps expanding, which is something I really like, especially thanks to the level design, which is actually really good in spite of the drab environment.
Now, to be fair, My Friend Pedro isn't without flaws. While in terms of gameplay, the level design progresses and expands and it just keeps on getting better and better, the environments themselves aren't that great. They blend together. They don't blend together per se, but they do lack interesting details and overall just feel bland. A lot of the commentary and humor is overt, superfluous, and to be honest, not that funny. Like, cool, seriously, the sentient banana concept is pretty genius, but other than that, they just don't have that much, like, humor to them. They just lack a certain consistency and certain tone that the game just struggles to maintain. That leads to the story, and okay, I'm not going to spoil it, but it's not that great. It's not good. Like, it's fine for an excuse to just dance through gunfights and levels, but don't expect narrative like Max Payne or even Max Payne 3 in terms of story and storytelling. And hell, you know what? The game makes Total Overdose look like a Tarantino film and Serious Sammy Shakespearean play. So you know what I'm getting at here. However, to be honest, I do like this game. My Friend Pedro isn't a legendary game or anything, but for a gameplay first gamer, this is a definitive recommend on my part. While I do wish we had more of My Friend Pedro, what we do have here for now is pretty neat, and I would recommend any of you to, just pick out the game, check it out, alright? Okay, cool. So, we're done, right? Don't you dare tell me! Oh, mobile game. Fine. I'm not gonna try a mobile game. No, it's not worth paying money for. What? My Friend Pedro, Ripe for Revenge, is a mobile adaptation developed by Dead Toast Entertainment himself, and is a pretty neat adaptation of sorts. I mean, it does have quite a few changes, but it does bring its own unique blend of My Friend Pedro to the table. So the plot of this game is actually quite simple. Pedro's family has been kidnapped, and it's up to you and Pedro himself to rescue them, and also get revenge! Now, let's be honest, I'm not fazed by the fact that Pedro has a family, but I mean, I'm literally talking to his cousin here, so... Now visually, it's a lot similar to the main version, but it's also... But the art style has been radically... I'm not sure what the exact word is, but they've turned this into... chibi? Like, basically, it's kind of like what Isekai Quartet is to the actual Isekai animes, like Overlord and ReZero and stuff. It looks way more cartoony and accessible compared to the grittiness of the first version. It just looks a lot cute, and I'm not sure if cute is the right word, but it's the only word that's come to mind when I look at this art style. Like, seriously, look at him! Look at this! What? And I'd say this is the only change, but other than that, the game is somewhat, let's just say, faithful to the main version. Not only does the game return with its fantastic soundtrack, this time created only by Noisecream, but the level design is really good for a mobile game. Which brings me to the major changing point when it comes to Ripe for Revenge. While the main version was mostly around 70% of combat with 30% of hardcore platforming,
In Ripe for Revenge, the platforming serves a much larger role than it did in the PC version. It's not to say that the gameplay hasn't been toned down, but it's made a lot more linear and less physics heavy. You're not just creating an elaborate ballet of dance, rather than you're going through something that's a little bit more orchestrated. And again, the platforming is a lot more heavily defined. And I'm not sure how to say this, but the enemy layouts and the way combat plays out, it feels more like you're solving a puzzle than engaging in an organic combat situation. That's not a bad thing though. In fact, I think it really gels well the way that the game has been designed and with a mobile format. And it works really well compared to what is going on. I'm just saying that it's a bit of it's an alternate approach to the concept of My Friend Pedro.
The game does have a combo system, but here instead of being ranking, it's out of 3 stars, for which you get from scores. That's it. And the shift in the gameplay loop is also marked by a completely new control scheme, which is suspiciously similar to another game I've known about. Never mind. You drag across the screen to create a trajectory of sorts, to pretty much launch your character wherever you want to, and tap on the screen on the enemies to shoot. And it works surprisingly well. It's very intuitive, but it does sacrifice, into accessibility and more physicality for precision. I'm not sure if this is a problem with my phone or the screen or the game itself, but there were certain times where the input would not register, and it just serves for a crazy experience. More so because of the way this game was monetized. Initially, the game was free. However, the free version only allowed you to start from the very beginning of the tutorial. So if you wanted to complete the game for free, you had to finish the entire game in one sitting without dying even once. Unfortunately, I could not do that. I reached around level 25, around level 28 by the time I was, just tired of it. And, it's mistakes like these that just kind of ruin what is otherwise an extremely enjoyable experience. That being said, while working on this video, we got an update, and guess what? That restriction's been removed. Now you can play whichever level you want in the main campaign, as long as you're willing to watch an ad. And let's be honest, we could have gone much worse. The game still locks the alternate game mode, Blood Rush, behind a paywall, but that's fine. I think being able to play this game that has been extremely well crafted and well polished for the most part for free is just a godsend. And again, it's not a big deal. It's a one-time purchase, and again, it's going to the developers. So I'm not really against the monetization scheme, at least for this one. And you know what? Even if the game maintained its one life playthrough approach to its game design, I wouldn't be that angry. Granted, I would feel a bit sad, but let's be honest here. The way I tackled this game with Freeman earlier, it felt like playing an arcade machine or an arcade cabinet. You had one life and you had to go through perfectly, and it was the necessary external motivation required to play skillfully. Granted, it was a cheap one, but hey, I'll take it. And if you're tired of mobile games that just want you to just pay and pay and pay to win, or just stick to online stuff and all, you can just play this game. It's available to play offline, and it's really fun to just go platform through the stages and shoot things with the help of a sentient banana. So hey. Overall, Ripe for Revenge gets an easy recommend from me. It's free, it's really, device friendly, like it's not that large in terms of, data size, and it's really fun and really good to play. And again, I can't stress on how good this soundtrack is, so if you're into My Friend Pedro, you might feel a different kind of experience, but overall it's still a pretty faithful adaptation of the PC version, or the main version of the game, that is. Whew! And with that, we're at the end of this video. Thank God, a sentient banana was able to help me play some really good games, I have to admit. Thank you, Mario. Oh, wait. What was your name again? Luigi? Ah, who cares? Look, I appreciate the fact that, you introduced me to these games, but I've already done your work advertising this stuff, so I don't need... Okay, alright. I'll help you. I have a gift for you, in fact. This is Ganesh Chaturthi and all, so... How about I give you a gift? It's really, really great to find someone, who you can share gifts with, so... How about I give you a gift, for the sake of this video?